In today's market, it is easier to negotiate with the seller than it was a couple years ago. That's for sure. There are sellers that are willing to negotiate some on the price or even the terms, help with closing costs, things of that nature than it was a couple years back. Now, I don't want to give buyers the wrong impression that they're just going to get gobs and gobs off of these properties because, first of all, we're in a really desirable area, Panama City Beach, Florida. We have people coming here to work. We have people buying second homes. We have people retiring here. We have investors who are going to buy investment properties and also vacation here. We have a large military presence in our area. So there's a lot of things that keep our area extremely healthy as far as real estate goes. But there are more opportunities now to negotiate than there was a couple years back. The other thing to keep in mind for if you're looking to put an offer in is that if a property is well priced, it is actually selling at about 95% of that listed price. Okay, so it shows you there's a little bit of wiggle room, but not a tremendous amount of wiggle room. Because even though there's more inventory on the market now than there has been, when we really start to dial in exactly what you're looking for, you know, that gets down to a much smaller number. So more inventory, but such a wide variety of different type of properties in our area that when it gets down to looking for you specifically, it might be a lot less to actually choose from, although a lot more choices than we had a couple years back. So what I want to focus on in this conversation is asking a seller for closing cost assistance versus taking the money off the price of the home. And I'm going to use an example of a house. Let's say we find a house in town and it's $350,000, and you say, hey Sharon, we want to offer $340,000, so we want $10,000 off. And I say, okay, so what is that going to do to your payment, that $10,000? Anyone want to take a guess? Based on today's interest rate, which has actually come down substantially, we're at 6.25 for an FHA and VA loan with a local lender here. That payment's going to drop by $60 a month, 60 bucks. So a lot of times people go, well, that's not very much. I was like, no, they think $10,000 is really going to make a huge impact. And if $60 a month is a make or break it for you, then that's not your comfort zone of purchasing. We need to be looking at a different purchase price. So what if instead of asking for $10,000 off the price, we keep the price as it is at $350,000, and we say, hey, Mr. Seller, would you give us $10,000 towards closing cost? And in that, you put in their closing costs, prepaids, which is your taxes and your insurance, and also to buy down the rate. And seller says, okay, I'll do $10,000 towards your buyer's closing costs. I was like, all right, cool. So now you can figure out what to do with that $10,000. And give you an example. So if you wanted to buy the rate down permanently, this is not temporarily, permanently through the life of the loan, then it will cost you about 1%, 1 point, they call them points, which is equal to 1%. So in this case, $350,000 house be $3,500. 1 point will buy it down to 5.875 today. Okay. Now at 5.875 versus 6.25, with the price of the house still being at $350,000, your payment is less, $82 less a month. So $82 less a month versus $60. And also keep in mind, you still got $6,500 to play with. So now you can take that $6,500 and you put that towards the residual of your closing cost, your prepaids, and depending on the price of the home, you know, that could cover a good majority of those closing costs. And so what that means to you is less money out of pocket, right? So that would help with, you know, any kind of moving expenses, unexpected expenses, or more importantly, decorate that beautiful new house. So there's another way to look at it. Now, the cool thing about it is you don't have to make those decisions up front how you want to use the money. We can just negotiate a lump sum, and then we will put the verbiage in there that covers you for all different types of scenarios. And once we get you under contract, we send the lender the contract, and then you decide with the lender what's the best way to use it. Do you want to use it for buying down the interest rate, or do you just want to use it for closing cost, or a combination of the two? Now, every loan type has a different limit of how much a seller can contribute towards a buyer's closing costs. FHA and VA, there's large amounts that people can actually contribute. The seller can contribute. And for an investment buyer, it's less. It's like 2% cap, 2% of the sales price, which is still a lot. If you're buying a $500,000 condo, that's $10,000. But either way, to me, to have that longevity of that rate coming down when you're not having to pay for it out of your pocket, and you've got a seller assisting you to pay for it, is a little bit smarter way to go than just say take $10,000 off the price of the home. So that's my 2 cents on that. Using an experienced realtor like myself that's a great negotiator, I understand how this is a benefit for the buyers. Sometimes the sellers will get a little confused, saying I'm not going to give them money, but hopefully the listing agent is savvy enough to explain to them it's the same bag of money, it's just coming out of a different pot. That's it. And if you have any more questions, reach out to me about this, and I will post some other videos at the end, some lender information and a couple other videos about buying in our area. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, please do that today. I'd really appreciate the support, and that way you get notified of new videos that come out. And then if you'll hit the like button, that would be great, and even leave a comment. Have a wonderful day from Panama City Beach, Florida. Bye.